The following program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Did the embattled congressman accused of outrageous lies also rip off key elements of his life story from his former boss?
Will you step down?
I will not. Newly sworn in George Santos claims he went to Baruch College in New York, where he was a star player on the championship volleyball team. He even boasted about his volleyball skills to a local Republican big shot on Long Island.
Told me, I remember specifically, I'm into sports a little bit, that he was a star on the Baruch volleyball team and that they won the league championship. What can I tell you?
Stephen Colbert had fun with Santos' volleyball claim.
He lied about going to Baruch. They say he lied about being a volleyball champion, but Santos did provide this video evidence.
Let's go! I'm George Santos. This is Baruch College.
Santos not only never attended Baruch College, he also never played on the school's volleyball team. So where did George Santos come up with such an outlandish story? It's possible he ripped off this guy. His name is Pablo Oliveira. Unlike Santos, he's the real deal. He's a two-time All-American volleyball player and graduated Baruch. He's from Brazil, just like Santos' parents. So, how do they know each other? Santos once worked for Oliveira, who's the CEO at the financial services company Linkbridge Investors. Other falsehoods include Santos saying he went to NYU, worked at Goldman Sachs, is Jewish, and had relatives who were killed in the Holocaust. Even Republican big shots in New York are demanding that Santos resign.
He's a national joke, he's an international joke, but this joke's gotta go.
As calls for Santos to resign mount, so do the investigations. He's the subject of a Federal Elections Commission inquiry, House ethics complaint, and a fraud case.
Are you ready?
Hello everybody, it's Jeff. Hope everybody's doing okay. So it's currently snowing outside right now. So I'm actually going to be able, probably by tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, I'll be able to go out and do some pictures and recordings here. I guess they'll get a whole lot more up north, you know, obviously. They haven't said how much we're going to get, at least I don't recall them telling me or saying anything on the radio about it, but it's not like a blizzard or anything. It's kind of just coming down normally, so I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to be a lot, but that depends. We'll see tomorrow what's going on. And so in the meantime, have some news articles here I want to go over. The first one here is it's the anti-abortion people again. Okay, you think that overturning Roe versus Wade was enough for them? No, hell no. Nope, they're still at it. And this article written by Caitlin Cruz yesterday evening. From Jezebel, that's the website it's from. Anyway, it's entitled, Anti-Abortion Groups Are Planning One of Their Dumbest Protests Yet. After the FDA announced last week it would allow retail pharmacies to carry the abortion drug mifepristone, I guess, I don't know, behind its counters, CVS and Walgreens said their pharmacies in legal jurisdictions would become certified to distribute mifepristone. I'm sorry, I just, new words, This was obviously an affront to an anti-abortion activists who are not letting the foot off the gas after getting the big thing they wanted at the Supreme Court. Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising, the same group that claimed to have been given 115 seats of fetal remains, 115 sets of fetal remains from a medical waste truck, will be protesting at Walgreens and CVS locations in a range of cities across America on Saturday, February the 4th. Members are hitting up the obvious sites: New York City, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and San Francisco, but the organic protester-led format, in parentheses, think about how satellite versions of the women's marches were held around the country, parentheses, means they'll also be protesting at retail pharmacies in Boston, Massachusetts, Austin, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Sioux Falls, Akron, and Portland as a publication. The group says the protests will have the same vibe as sidewalk quote-unquote counseling that anti-abortion activists do in front of abortion clinics to harass providers and patients. Quote, "We want people to be uncomfortable going into a CVS that has a demonstration going on and to consider going to a different pharmacy," unquote. Caroline Smith, a progressive anti-abortion uprising leader, told Politico, quote, "We also want to put enough pressure on the companies to retract this decision and not get certified to sell abortion pills," unquote. As Smith's statement says, retail pharmacies are not required to become certified, but activists saw it as hearing that two of the largest pharmaceutical chains choose to start the process. The group wants the protests to be a part of a national boycott and calling campaign to CVS too. Walgreens and CVS have not issued statements about the upcoming protests. The group is continuing the anti-abortion movement's use of hyperbolic language about murder and killing to promote the events. Quote, "Both pharmacy chains are in the process of converting their retail locations to become abortion businesses by selling and dispensing the abortion pill. Though medication abortions make up more than half of abortions performed in America, it is highly unlikely that certified CVS and Walgreens will pivot their operations to being abortion clinics. Still, pharmacists are worried about the anti-abortion protests. After all, protests at clinics have been known to be injurious, if not just plain annoying. Quote, "The safety of pharmacy teams is really important, and that's something they're going to take into consideration when they decide whether or not to become certified," unquote. Elisa Bernstein, the interim CEO for the American Pharmacists Association, told Politico, quote, "In some communities, that may be more of a concern than others, but it is a concern," unquote. Maybe the pharmacists are right to be concerned. Students for Life Policy kept Christy Hamrick said the activists are, quote, "much savvier," unquote, now. Quote, "If Walgreens wants to learn anything from more than 50 years of our abortion activism, it's that we will not give up," unquote, Hamrick told Politico. "But I do question how long and just how many anti-abortion crusaders will be willing to stand out in front of enough random CVS stores to get the corporation's attention. The reason abortion clinic protests worked and still work even post-Roe is that they are directly targeting patients. The goal, beyond abolition of abortion, is to make sure everyone has to walk past those protesters at an abortion clinic, if they ever actually have an abortion. Now, people will have to walk past these inflammatory fetus signs and prayer groups as they enter a Walgreens to pick up toothpaste. If that's how these activists want to waste their time, so be it." Well, I have a question. If, of course, Walgreens, CVS, these are businesses, right? how do these folks get the right to be on their property to do this? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't go into one of these places and solicit. Okay, it's obvious you can't do that. They got signs at the door that says no solicitors. You know, so how can these protesters actually go right up to the fucking entrance and feel like they have a right to protest on somebody else's property? Okay, I don't think they can. In fact, I'm sure they can't. And if they try and stop people on the street, you know, by going out on the sidewalk, we'll just say, to protest there to keep people from getting into the store, again, they're interrupting the flow of business that would put them legally in trouble. I mean, you can't stop traffic, okay? You're hindering traffic, and you can't do that. Now, if these people get to the point where they start vandalizing, and it's happened, they start vandalizing, then the axe of blame is going to land on all these anti-abortionists, and they're not going to be welcome anywhere to do this stuff. So, you know, they need to rethink how aggressive they want to be here with this issue of theirs, okay? They really need to, because it's not going to work in their favor if they think they can go and bully people as they're going into these stores, okay? I'm sorry, you know, it's just, there's a, you know, how they got away with doing the things that they did while they were, you know, going after abortion clinics, I'll never understand, okay? Those people should never have been able to go as far as they did by getting right in the patient's faces as they went in. That's not right, okay? All those people today, you know, what you do is you take a picture of all the protesters, okay, when you go in there. And then you have a face that can get a name, get an address, and you could, you know, probably get arrested, or you get a warrant or a fucking restraining order. That's what we do. I mean, that's what we have to do. I mean, you see these protesters out there and they start to bother you, take pictures. Get your camera out there and just snap all their faces, okay? And then when you go to the police, you got faces that they can match up to. They love that, okay? If they think that they're going to bodily stop somebody from getting in there, I would love to have one of them try that with me. Okay? I would love to have them try that with me. Okay? If they think they're going to force me out or force me from going into one of these stores when I'm getting something, okay, I would really like one of these sons of bitches to get in my face, because they're going to find out what crazy's all about, okay, and, you know, it's going to be a bad day for them. It really is. It's going to be a bad day for them, okay. So I feel like these people, yeah, they got a right to bitch and complain, but not on other people's property, and not in you know, nose to nose contact and screaming at them like that, okay, and forcing a fight. Okay, you can only go so far. Even pro-abortion people don't do shit like that, okay? And you know, when you let one side get away with all these things, you're setting a precedent. That's going to make it okay for the other side to try to do the same, okay? And I don't agree with that, even if for the pro-abortion people. I don't think they ought to do that, okay? I think it's wrong. They can protest in front of state buildings, which is where these things should be anyway, right? Because isn't that who, at the end of the day, who the final word is really going to have over what's going to go on or not go on this issue is people that work as representatives of the state. I mean, why take it anywhere else? Why go to corporations? Okay? You know, you're not going to convince these companies to not do what they're going to do. Okay? They'll just you know, move the finger of business in your direction and just sweep you away as you're out there hollering and pissing and moaning, okay? Because, you know, for them, you're hurting their bottom line. Money talks, okay? If you guys ain't got money to put up to sway them the other way, you ain't got nothing, okay? They'll just sweep you aside, and that's it. So, like I said, take the fucking the protests to your state capitals, you know, your town offices and stuff like that. Do it there, okay? That's the most likely place. Now, across the road from a fucking a homeless shelter for pets, okay, It's not the place to be putting signs. I mean, this happens over here all the time. Okay, I live like less than a mile from the Humane Society here. Okay, in Bangor, and every once in a while, every 3 or 4 months, okay, you'll see protesters outside, parked on the side of the road with their ugly signs, and and they'll just sit there in lawn chairs. It could be the dead of winter, and they'll sit outside in lawn chairs with the signs planted in front of them. Anti-abortion people, okay, and they'll just sit there all fucking day. They'll sit there, okay, while people drive by. They don't say nothing. They don't do nothing. But that's what they do. And I keep wondering, why here? Are you talking to the pets over there, the animals over there, or what? Because there's not a whole lot of traffic that goes up and down that street, in a day, okay? Because a lot of doctors live up on Mount Hope Avenue, okay, and they're not at home, they're at work. And most of the time, they're probably there, more than 24 hours. Okay, so, they're not getting their message out there. I mean, they ought to be in downtown Bangor, okay, if they want to get people's attention. But Mount Hope Avenue, and under a big tree, I mean, it's not really the place that's going to, hey, so like I said, I don't understand some of these people, okay, but I would think that there are more appropriate places, more effective places to actually say your thing. And like I said, going to these pharmacies and doing this, I mean, a pharmacy that does more than just sell medicine, okay? They sell lots of other things, okay? And so you can't go after them for being what they are, okay? Any more than you can go stand in front of a Walmart because they got a pharmacy and do the same fucking thing there, okay? You can't do that. So I'm sorry, but these people, they figure they can get away with this, okay? And maybe they will, okay? Because a lot of times these things happen and you don't hear much about any repercussions these people have to face because they cross the line. So maybe so, but like I said, I don't think they're going to be able to do this for long if they start to get nasty and argumentative and physical with customers trying to go in and spend money there for what they want. We'll just see how that happens. But I'll tell you right now, it's a bad move on their part to take it to that level, because I'll tell you, it's not going to be anything good for them. Okay, now, yes, yeah, that's right. A special counsel has been named to investigate Biden's classified documents that they found. Okay, well, I'm sure everybody's heard about that. Personally, I don't think it's a real big issue that Democrats need to worry about. They found the documents inside an office that Biden had, and it was in a closet that was locked, okay? And he told them that was there, okay? He told them to go get it, okay, because it was there. And so they did, and they found it. He didn't try to hide it, okay? How they got there, he doesn't understand, which is kind of throwing a lever in the minds of conspiracy theorists out there, thinking that somebody in the Republican Party is trying to set Biden up here by deliberately. I mean, they might have got these documents from Trump, and they went and go and put it in a closet somewhere and just locked it, and then somebody says, "Oh, we found these over," just to make Biden look bad and to make Trump look less of a villain than he already is, by saying, "Well, Biden did it, okay, he's got stuff." They've also been throwing in Hillary Clinton in her emails, like that's ever going to end there with her, okay? So we all know that when they took control of the House, that this was going to be a relentless attack on Biden and his son Hunter, okay? Which again, it's a non-issue. Hunter Biden is a non-issue. They've been after this guy here for how long now? And they keep saying they got proof, they got hard drives, they got this, they got that, and nothing is ever shown. There's no evidence. I feel like this is that the Kraken is out there. Again, it's one of those situations where everyone is being pulled by the nose to, hey, look over here, look, and there's no there. And that's what's going on, I think. Whatever Hunter Biden has on his fucking laptop is of no concern of mine because it doesn't affect my bread and butter, doesn't affect how I live my life. It doesn't affect your way of living either. So why should any of us even give two shits about what the hell Hunter Biden did or didn't do? Okay? If he got a gun without getting a permit or whatever the hell it is, then he'll answer for it, okay? Whatever laws are there, big deal. Woo, jeez, that makes the president look really bad. Christ almighty, how can that be? But this is all they got. This is all the Republicans have got. They don't have anything else because we know what their agenda is. Their agenda is to destroy Biden and therefore destroy the government, okay? That's what they're in there for. I mean, look at this. Look at George Santos, okay? Here's a guy that the more they dig into this guy, the more shit they are finding. I'll tell you, and it's not small crap. This guy, I mean, he's basically being hunted down by Brazil, for Christ's sake. They want him. They want to question him. They want to talk. He's running from the law from another country, and he's mixed up in all kinds of shit. And plus, he's lied his fucking ass off. I mean, we find out his name really isn't George Santos at all. I mean, he ran 2 years ago under a different name. George something. I can't remember what it was. But the thing is that this guy has not told the truth about one thing he's ever said to anybody in public. Okay? And rightly, the people that he represented in New York are pissed off and they want him out. Okay? They want him out. But McCarthy's not going to let him go because he needs that guy in his fucking vote. He knows what's going to happen if he loses Santos, okay? For one thing, he's got a lot of enemies right now in the House. He's got over 20 people that don't want to see him sitting as House Speaker, okay? So he needs to keep all his, supporters around him, basically, and that includes Santos. So naturally, he's going to protect this guy. No matter how much bad he's done, he's going to protect him. All right, so Santos will get away with the shit that he did, and that's only going to piss off the people in the district in New York that he got his position from. And Santos knows this. I think he knows that he's got protection, and so he's not really he don't care. He doesn't care. He's shrugging off the press. He won't really answer anything truthfully. I mean, why would you expect him to truth about anything? But yeah, I mean, he's just the Republicans have a lot of fucking crap in their basket in the House, a lot, and nothing that they have planned for the next 2 years from these people is going to be of any interest or in as far as the situation of our country. Their goal is simply to try and scuttle America the best way they can, given what power they have. Okay, and thank God we have a Senate controlled by Democrats, and we have a president who's Democrat, because it's going to make their job a whole lot harder to accomplish, given that situation. But you see now, this is why elections matter. And the only reason why the Republicans have control of Congress is because they gerrymandered their way into it, okay? Which I was saying before, way back before the midterms even started, how is it we let these people get away with gerrymandering the fucking districts? That's like pre-cheating before the event. It's like when people play golf. And before the golf tournament starts, they dig trenches to the friggin' holes that they got to go to, so that way they don't have to, all they got to do is put the ball into the trench and it'll go, you know what I'm saying? But they can't say they were doing it during the game. No, that's not cheating. But they did it before the game, and they get away with it, okay? What's the fucking difference? I mean, they still cheated. And the Democrats sat on their haunches and they let them do it. And that really irked the hell out of me. That was one of the things that I was pissed off about Biden about, was that he wouldn't say something or do something about stopping these Republicans from doing a pre-cheat to an election that was coming up. And how many times have they redistrict areas of this country? I mean, it seems like they're doing this all the time now. And it's because they can't get enough people to support them. The more bullshit they do, the more people they lose in their base, okay? And now it's got to a point now where they're at a point where one vote matters right now, okay? They won all their seats by the narrowest of margins, okay? Most of these people. And they're only ahead, a lot of them by just, maybe 3-4 votes, okay, that they got their seats by. But they didn't have that red wave that they thought was coming. They did not get it. And that's because they spent the last 6 years, okay, just kicking the shit out of the average citizen in this country, taking away things that, they depended on, okay, and standing in the way of help that some of these people needed, okay? That doesn't get you friends. That doesn't make a base. That doesn't make loyalists, okay? So the people who are still loyal to the Republican Party are folks who you don't want to be around, okay? They are out of their fucking mind. They're like the damn the Nazis, okay? These people follow Trump for whatever reason they have. It's not in your best interest, okay? You stay away from those people. Don't even bother talking to them. Don't even try and reason with them, because they won't change their ways. They won't change. These people are loyal to Trump to a fault, and that's the only thing they care about is staying loyal to that man. All right, let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you. Original.
Donald Trump is back. Angry, vengeful, ready to take back the White House and wreck America again. And who's going to stop it? These weaklings and losers? Business leaders? They'll bend the knee and write the checks. The press? Too many are just here for the show, ready to both sides America to death. The law? He'll ignore it, like he's always done. No, the only people who will stop Trump are Americans ready to put country over party, ready to put differences aside to save this country, ready to work, ready to fight, ready to stand up when he knocks America down. Because it's not about left and right. It's not about rich and poor, black or white. Like it's always been, the choice is simple. It's America or Trump.
Strawberry, blueberry, watermelon. New triple treat from Bubble Tape. 6 feet of gum, 6 feet of fun. New sour crystals. Better tasting Bubble Tape sours. 6 feet of gum, 6 feet.
If the Republican Senate candidates get scared that Trump is dragging them down,
one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water,
will they continue to cling to him if he's potentially plummeting to the bottom of the ocean?
I will go down with fiction.
Surrounded by water, big water, ocean water.
What is your understanding of why Republicans are doing this?
I think it's that same genetic impulse that pulls the lemmings over the cliff, one after the other.
I know I left too much mess and destruction to come back again.
Are you proud of your support for President Trump?
But if I didn't say it,
Senator, the question was, are you proud of your support for President
I'm proud
Trump?
to be fighting for Arizona every single day.
Is that a yes or a no?
I promise I'm not trying to make your life harder.
11 hours to vote. Let's use plain English and call it what it is. Voter suppression.
I will go down with this ship.
And then we get conspiracy theories and we get lies. Where is the line? When are you guys going to say enough?
You have to take the children away. Very fine people.
This Stormy Daniels deal.
That call was perfect. A bunch of suckers.
You still stand there silent.
Hold my tongue.
Senator McConnell, was what the president did last night the right thing to do? You don't have any comment on what happened at the White House last night? Was it an abuse of power?
Yes, I did vote to repeal the ACA.
If you're a young African American, you can go anywhere in this state. You just need to be conservative, not liberal.
It's certainly going to be very difficult. I'm very concerned.
You need to help me.
Glenn? That's right. I'm on a hippo eating airheads. I'd like a hippo.
Airheads have more fun.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, welcome back. Is another story here today. That happened, was published 12 hours ago. It's published by Alternet. Stories by Brandon Gage. Entitled, "You Brought This to the Floor." Passions ignite in Missouri House over GOP bill to control women's clothes. Legislators in the Missouri House of Representatives sparred on Wednesday over a Republican amendment to regulate what types of clothing women lawmakers should be permitted to wear while they are at work. Maybe somebody should have said something about Kristen Sinema and some of the shit she wore. Don't even get me there, I'll tell you, right? House Resolution 11 was cleared by the GOP-dominated Consent and House Procedure Committee, and while it has not yet been submitted to the Missouri State Senate, passionate arguments have burbled from Assembly members on both sides of the political aisle. State Representative Rachel Prouty from District 53, she's a Democrat, for example, lambasted the proposal as inherently absurd, overtly sexist, and unworthy of consideration. I want you all to pay particular attention because there's going to be times on this floor where there are things that should not require debate and comment. I contend that these are one of those things. There are times to have your name said, to be recognized, to be called upon. This is not one of those times. There are some very serious things that are in this rule package that I think we should be debating, but instead we are fighting again for women's right to choose something. And this time is how she covers herself and the interpretation of someone who has no background in fashion. Because again, this isn't a shot. It's inappropriate to wear sequins before 5 o'clock telling me that I can't wear a crispy Good Street John sweater if it has too many buttons. I spend $1,200 on a suit and I can't wear it in the people's house because someone who doesn't have the range tells me that it's inappropriate. That's not why any of us were elected, Mr. Speaker. None of us. I urge us to vote no on this because it's ridiculous. And also, congratulations, I'll keep that to myself. To any of us who may be with child, you surely don't have enough or have the money off the salary that we make to go buy a bunch of new clothes or tailored clothes. And I hope that you're able to continue to wear your cardigan and vote on behalf of the people who sent you there. Next, State Representative Ashley Yoon from the 14th District, she's a Democrat, came to blows with one of H.R. 11's co-sponsors, State Representative Ann Kelly, Republican member of the 127th District, over why Republicans are pushing unnecessary and creepy restrictions on female attire. Yoon's frustration was palpable. Quote, "You know what it feels like to have a bunch of men in this room looking at your top, trying to decide whether it's appropriate or not. Are we going to have Chief Clerk and House Administrator Dana Radman Miller be checking our tags for whether it's a knit blend or a polyester blend or the silk count? I mean, this is ridiculous." Kelly says, "Lady, you're right. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely absurd that we even have to talk about it on the House floor in the House chamber." Yoon, I agree. So why are you doing it? Why don't you bring it? Why did you bring it up? Kelly respond, "Why should we talk about something like this? It is absolutely ridiculous." Yoon, exasperated by Kelly's seemingly self-defeating defense, "You brought this to the floor, lady. You tell me." Kelly's response was to blame women. "You would think that all you would have to do is say, dress professionally, and women could handle it. You would think, excuse me. You would think elected officials could handle that. You refusing to take the bait. You would think, but we were walking around here in sequins and velveteens for the ladies' point. So what is appropriate and why do you get to decide?" Kelly, unable to provide substantive answers. "We need to get over this sequins. That's ridiculous." And of course, they're on Twitter. They have a Twitter link here to this debate. And it's posted by Heartland Signal as they talk about this. And yeah, I mean, what's going on here, I think, is that the GOP in that state house here or whatever, they just you know, it's like, you know, they try not to do the work of the people, and they just you know, they bring up these issues that they know is going to start a fight and detract everybody from doing the job that they were elected there to do. That's the same thing that's going on in the House of Representatives, okay, in Washington D.C. Same thing. They're going in there, just stirring the pot, just lighting the gas, just doing all these things to get everybody's attention away from, you know, fighting inflation, you know, doing things for the environment, taking care of protecting people's rights, protecting Social Security and Medicare, which is what the Republicans are after right now. They want to take all the money out of that. And they're doing all this stuff in order to create chaos, because when you create chaos, it's so much easier to get away with doing something you know people aren't going to like. And that's how they win. That's how they won the thing going on with the Roe versus Wade. Okay, it was a big gamble on their part, which I didn't think they would get. I really didn't. Okay, but when you think of the fact that half the members, or no, actually it was six of the members of the Supreme Court were Republican, who got into office by lying their way into it. Okay, and we know that they lied because we have them saying that they're all against women's right to an abortion, and then here they go and they vote against it. The same fucking people who like a few months ago said they would protect it. So they lied under oath, okay, just so they could get a seat in there. You know, Republicans don't get anything fairly, do they? They lied to get into the Supreme Court, okay, they gerrymandered to get into Congress, you know, and one guy, George Santos, lied about every damn thing you could think of just to get a seat in Congress. And now that he's in there, a guy's lying to protect him in order so he can keep his vote. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is like the mafia in control of a party here. That's what it feels like. You got George, Soprano there, controlling this thing here. It's sad. And how Republicans can see this going on and just, go, that this is okay. Yes, are these people really that incredibly naive to think that, they're going to get something out of this at the end of all this mess, right? They don't get anything. Republican voters never get a damn thing for their fucking time and effort when they go voting. And yet they still go home after they get something, and they still bitch and complain that the country's falling apart, that, there's not enough pay out there. They bitch about the same things Democrats do, people. They do. I hear it all the time. I mean, especially, from who. Okay, a Trumplican herself bitches about the same things that Democrats bitch about, okay? They just go to the Republicans expecting the solution to be there, and they never get the solution. Even when they feel like, we got Trump now, he's president and everything, they still go home at the end of the day bitching, I still got to pay taxes, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? You would think after a while, after constantly beating your head against the wall over and over and over again and thinking and expecting a different result, they would say, I'm not getting no ground here. Okay, these people aren't doing a damn thing. They're not accomplishing anything. After how many damn years go by, they finally attack Roe versus Wade and they get a partial victory out of that. Okay? A partial victory. And even then, they still ain't happy. They're going to go to CVS and Walgreens and protest the shit out of these places. But, because, overturning Roe v. Wade wasn't enough for these folks. Okay? So, they're never happy. They're always the victim all the time of things going on in America. And, they used to blame Democrats for being victims because we complained a lot about how Republicans were treating the people in America. And we're always playing the victim. Well, now they're doing that. Now they're playing the victim. Now they're always crying and moaning about what they can't get, and claiming that, we're being cheated, the Democrats are cheating us, blaming Democrats for exactly what they're doing, okay, which has been their motive, their whole, as long as I've been listening to Republicans talk, okay, and getting involved in politics since the 80s, okay, that's the way they do things. they blame the other side for things that the Republicans themselves are already doing, okay? So that way, when they get caught, they can say, no, it wasn't us, it was them, we told you, remember we told you they were doing this, and, you know, so that's what they do. They deflect, they point to the other side, all the while getting everybody's anger up and, you know, getting everyone's hair in a twist, okay? And at the same time, they cower away and they start on the next scandal, okay? That's what they do. And they just keep stoking it. And it makes it a whole lot easier when you got a news station out there, Fox News, that keeps the fires burning, okay? Why do you think they got radio? Why did you think they got Rush Limbaugh? You see, the politicians can't spend all that time talking every day to people to keep the fires burning, so they hired these big mouths out there to do it for them, okay? They get them to get on the radio, and they cross-promote each other, basically, you know? Listen to Rush Limbaugh, you know? And so they tune in, and what's he do? He keeps pouring the gas onto the fire every day, keeps that anger level up, because that's what motivates the right wing. Anger. Well, anger is also what motivates the Democrats these days, because the Republicans have so crippled our democracy that we're worried that its days are numbered. And if we don't keep our foot on their necks, it can be taken right out from under us practically overnight. That's how close we are to losing what we have. Okay, and I can't see that being good for anybody when that happens. You know? Okay, this story here was kind of, I don't know, it's just weird. It's not something that I follow, but when this showed up here on the news thing, I kind of gave me something to think about, you know, as relation to how America is as a society. This is from BuzzFeed News, okay, written by Layla Muhammad, entitled Badbi said anyone who joined her OnlyFans, which is a website for people that what they do is they go to a site called OnlyFans, and they open a page, and if you want to be a member of this person's page, you pay, okay? They get money from that, okay? It's like a club, basically. Everybody sets up a club, and everybody pays their dues on it or some damn thing. So it's what I understand of it being. It's just more way to promote somebody's ego, you know, more than it should be. Okay, and making them feel like they're somebody. Okay. Bobby said anyone who joined her OnlyFans as soon as she turned 18 should be in jail, and described her audience as married men who, quote unquote, definitely have daughters her age. In April of 2021, Badbi, aka Daniel Bregoli, announced that she'd launched an OnlyFans account. The move came just days after the rapper turned 18, which is the legal age of an adult in the United States. Of course, Bregoli shot to fame years prior when she made a now infamous appearance on a 2016 episode of Dr. Phil talk show. I don't know why they call him a doctor. After accumulating a huge following online and subsequent rap career thanks to her, quote, cash me outside, unquote, one-liner on Dr. Phil, Bregoli, who was just 13 at the time, found herself growing more and more popular each day. And when she eventually decided to sign up to OnlyFans, a website where creators can post content for a monthly subscription rate of their choice, when she turned 18, she only saw more success. Sharing a screenshot of her alleged earnings from OnlyFans in just 6 hours, Bregoli claimed to have made over $1 million in her first night on the platform. Quote, not bad for 6 hours, unquote, she captioned her Instagram post. Quote, we broke the fuck out of that OnlyFans record, unquote. She later claimed to have made $52 million within the first year of launching her account. Quote, go cry about it, bitch, unquote, she captioned a screenshot of her alleged yearly earnings from the site. And briefly discussing the subject with TMZ last April, Bergoli said that her critics should be referring to her as, quote, the girl who made over fucking 50 million on OnlyFans, unquote, instead of the, quote, cash me outside, unquote, girl. Quote, call me the youngest female of the decade to go platinum. Call me shit like that, unquote, she said. Quote, call me the Gucci flip-flops girl, the high bitch girl, the girl who got a fucking $1 million makeup deal, the girl who made over a fucking 50 million on OnlyFans. Call me whatever you want, unquote. At the time that her OnlyFans account was launched, many people expressed their discomfort with Bergoli's content being watched by such a large, older audience within literal days of her being a legal adult. And now, reflecting on the subject, Bergoli said that those who subscribed to her account so soon after she launched it should be jailed. Sitting down for an appearance on Barstool Sports Show Sunday Conversation with Caleb Presley last month, Bergoli, now 19, firstly clarified that she joined OnlyFans as soon as she turned 18. Quote, and people subscribed right away? Unquote, Presley quickly questioned, to which Bergoli replied, yeah. Then when Presley asked if she thinks those people should, quote, be in jail, unquote, Bergoli said, yeah, while shrugging. Bergoli was later asked what she does on OnlyFans, to which she said, quote, I don't know, it's a surprise, unquote. She also revealed that she makes much of her earnings through DMs, before adding that she often receives explicit penis photos in response. And going on to describe her demographic, Bergoli said, quote, I feel like they're 20 to 40 years old, probably like a white man who's married with like 6 kids, definitely has a daughter my age, unquote. And they got some clips here of things. Okay, so yeah, it's a very broad, disturbing snapshot of what goes on here in the United States. Okay, to a girl, who was troubled when she first caught America's eye on that crazy Dr. Phil show, and ever since then, she found herself catapulted into stardom by getting on this webpage. Okay, she won't say what she's doing on there. Okay, and I'm pretty sure we all can figure that out in our own way. But the fact that so many older men are members on there shows that she's doing stuff on there that's going to get the attention of men and the ire of women, which means it ain't good. Okay, it's not clean stuff. Okay, if they're sending her dick pics and stuff like that, then obviously it's not what she's doing on this page is not nice. It's pretty disgusting. And I don't even if she is 19 years old, I mean, don't these website providers have sort of a you can't do this on there, you know what I'm saying? Don't they have any friggin' regulations on there about what can be done, or something that, I don't know. But you see, there's a problem with the internet, with sites like that. There's a problem with young girls getting, instantaneous popularity and money, okay, and still talking like a little kid, and not really behaving much more than the mentality of a child. I mean, she's 19 years old. She still sounds like a teenager. Okay, she's, it's just, I mean, she still sounds like a 13-year-old, like when we first saw her. Okay, she's, she's dolled up in jewelry and tried to make look like she's older than she is, and you could see she's a troubled little girl. Okay, and yet this little girl is being pacified by, by a website that's basically turned her into some kind of a sex symbol for older men, okay, with help from herself. Now, it's not just the damn website, but what she's doing on this website is also contributing to that, as well as being a rapper, but it's a cycle. I mean, because we got men out there who are going through this midlife crisis, okay? They see this girl, and and she's just letting it all hang out there. And what do you think's going to happen? Okay, all right. 18-year-old girl. You know, let me think about what's that guy's name? Drew Peterson. Remember that bastard, that cop there, who was always going after young girls to pick up at bars and shit like that? Well, there's a lot of Drew Petersons out there in this country, believe it or not. He ain't the only one. He was the more deadly of the version of it. Okay, but there's a lot of guys that are going through this mid-crisis shit like he was going through. Okay, that are out there looking, you know, for 18, 19, 20-year-old girls and stuff like that, and they're old enough to be their fathers. It don't matter to them because they say, oh, well, it's not blood, so what the hell does it matter? Yeah, yeah, it don't matter. It's right, you know. But we're not like a world with a small population of 100 people, okay, where we have no choice but to mate with whatever's out there in order to, to keep the population. So we got the world is overpopulated, okay. So there's no reason why that young girls should have to be subjected to this kind of shit unless they want it, okay, unless they want it. And that's the other part of this, is that that's what she wants. She wants that money rolling in, $50 million in a year's time, okay. I mean, I'm sure that would turn anybody's head around from sexual harassment to, oh, that's what I want, okay. How is that playing in all the people that are her fans? Okay, because they're not all just older men. Some of them are kids that are maybe younger than her or at the same age. How do you think they see that it's okay and they're going to try and do the same thing? You see how this all cycles together? It's like it's a snowball effect, okay? One feeds the other feeds another, and it just goes on and on, like a goddamn wheel. And how do you stop it? Okay, it's like I'm going to go all the way back to the days of the internet when it wasn't around, okay? People got themselves in a lot of trouble just using the telephone, okay? Or just, sending mail or pictures or something. We didn't have the internet, but we had ways of people getting in trouble, It required a lot of face-to-face, more than it does today, okay? But when you introduce the internet into a society that hadn't dealt with that issue yet and conquered it, all you did was say, hey, look, I got another way you guys can screw with each other. Here you go. So now, instead of waiting till a problem was resolved, we were handed a new way to create more problems. And so when it got better to use the internet, the society took all of its friggin' negativity and all of its sin and everything and threw it into that, okay, and just went wild with it, okay. And so the problem didn't go away, it exacerbated, okay, over time. And now it's affected society to the point now where people are just trying to accept it as, well, that's just the way it is. We gave up fighting it. Okay? Nobody wants to put any regulation on the internet because everybody is defending it on the for the wrong reason. Okay? It has nothing to do about the First Amendment or anything like that. It's about trying to keep people from getting worse than they already are. Okay? We're trying to dial back, stuff like this so it doesn't happen as often. Okay? So that way we get time to understand it and understand that it's not right, that it's wrong. I mean, if you look at it this way, if you look at it as people just stepping outside and doing everything they do online in the privacy of their home outdoors, would that be okay? Because that's what people are saying. It's okay. If she's doing this on OnlyFans and making money, then that's fine. Is it? So if I sent this girl outside and say, okay, go out and do what you've been doing on here, out in the street, okay, and make $50 million, is that okay? that's. I'm asking you. I'm not. Maybe it's a rhetorical question, but I am. It's a question that everybody ought to ask themselves, because if it's not okay to go outside and do what she's doing here, then it's not okay to be doing this on the internet as well. Okay, and the sites that are allowing this to go on are perpetrating this problem by giving them more rope to hang themselves with when these things go bad. Okay, and not everybody has such a great experience with my only website, OnlyFans or whatever the hell they call that. There's been a lot of bad things that's happened to women who got into that system, and it got out of control for them, and you know, they got in trouble with it. So it's not the best place for anybody at any age, really, to go and hang out at and think, oh, I'm going to get rich overnight, because that's what this Bahabi is basically telling people. Hey, join this, open an account here, and you know, do what I'm doing, and guys will line up to pay you all kinds of money, and within a year you're going to be a millionaire. You know, in a society that's going through problems with economics right now, where girls and boys, okay, are working part-time at a McDonald's or flipping burgers, or they need to go to college, and they can't think of a way to get a windfall of money on their, you know, that they need to do these things. Okay, what do you think they're going to do? If they can't go outside and do the old-fashioned thing, they're going to go online and do it there, and get paid for it, you know. Okay, and get the same way. You see what I'm saying? We're pushing society into these things, into a corner with our youth, because they need the money too. You know, they don't have a future unless they can get the hell out of Dodge. You know, and that means going to college or going into the military. You know, so what are they going to do? Anyway, that's a bit all I'm going to talk about here with today. It's getting pretty long-winded here. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. It's upcoming weekend here, so I hope everybody has a good weekend. And please keep your ears open to any local COVID-19 news. We're still dealing with that. It's not going to go away. And I hope everybody will subscribe and comment that watches my videos. Be interested in hearing what you got to say. And treat each other kindly. Watch yourself out there. Scammers are everywhere. So take care, everybody.